Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Prof. Aslina, for inviting me to this session. Thank you very much, of course, to the Dean of the Kuliah, Prof. Shukran, my respected professor, doctors, brothers and sisters, my dear colleagues. Again, let me introduce myself. My name is Shahrul Naim. I am currently attached to the Office of Center for Postgraduate Studies. I've been here for almost 3 years. Before I was with the Research Management Center. I belong to Kuliah of Engineering, Mechatronic Department. And today, inshallah, we are going to share a bit. I'm going to share a bit about iMonitor, where I believe many of you have used it, or maybe all of you have used it. So this perhaps can be a session where you guys, if you want to know more about iMonitor, if you have any comment to give to us to improve iMonitor, so I think this is the best session. This is the best session for us to engage about the platform. All right. So when as what Prof. Hasina has mentioned, iMonitor actually, a bit of history, it is a module out from a bigger academic system called Quest that university was embarking to develop like years ago, where eventually they, somehow they stopped the initiative because of many reasons. But luckily, CPS were able to extract one of the module called iMonitor to be developed and eventually successfully deployed to be used since, I think, semester 1, session 2019-2020. Yeah? So it's quite quite a number of semesters we have been using it. And of course, in the pipeline or during the development stage, we plan to continuously develop the platform. And after receiving or after using the system for a couple of semesters, we have received quite a number of comments. It has come to a time where we want to further develop the system to be in its second phase. And inshallah, by this year, perhaps we can table the proposal and get the support from the university to further improve. So as what has been mentioned by Prof. Haslina just now and also Prof. Shukran regarding how important supervision is for our postgraduate students, especially who are doing the study in the research mode. Continuous engagement between the supervisor and the student is deemed vital and a must for an effective supervision. And so as the student can achieve or can complete the study successfully and graduate on time. And that is the main purpose when we develop iMonitor, that is to use technology, at least to, like what Prof. Shukran used the term systemizing, or the process, of supervision, which is can be done using technology. So iMonitor offer a platform for you to do the supervision, can monitor the progress of the student, can also record the activities between you and your supervisor during the supervision process. All right. If I may share the screen of iMonitor, let us look at how iMonitor is look like. Share screen. Hold on. Okay, share. All right, let me log out from this page first because So so I guess since it's already evening, you know, Friday afternoon, sorry, like everybody is already very tired from the 1 week activity, academic activities, and looking forward for your weekend. So I just want to have this session. I hope to have this session very light, very informal, in a way that if you have any queries, if you want to interrupt me during my presentation, please, I welcome. Please do so. All right. If I may start, to access iMonitor, there are quite a number of ways. Of course, the simplest is to type the address of the page in the web browser. Otherwise, you can find the link to iMonitor using or from the IUM staff portal. Okay, I'm just want to type the address in the browser straight away. The address is imonitor.ium.edu.my. So if you type that address, basically it will land you to this, what they call as a casting page. Casting page is where you can insert your credential to get into the respective page. Yeah. All right. So after you click on that page, this is the page that you will land to. You have to choose the right account associated to, especially to your official IUM account to get into the system. All right. And then you will find this page. This page is there because of calendar. Somehow, iMonitor is the first university developed academic platform that has calendar embedded into it. So you have to somehow allow the calendar to be accessed. At the end of the session after iMonitor, perhaps if you allow me to share with you how to set your calendar so that you can allow some event in the calendar to be seen by a group of people rather than having everybody throughout the globe to access your account. Because if you do the wrong setting, so there is a possibility for everybody to look at your calendar and and see your activity. So we will do that toward the end of the session. But for the time being, you just need to click allow. And then you will see this iMonitor page as the first page once you log into the system. Yeah. So briefly, you see this page contain 3 columns. I think the one on the left, the one in the middle, and the one on the right. The one on the left, you see the main menu. And for you, most of you, you might see one designation or one role as supervisor. So as supervisor, but for the one who got administrative posts like HOD or the DDPG or the administrator, they have another set of module to deal with. So you look on the left column under the dashboard. Basically, everybody has 4. Everybody can see the screen, right? Okay, good. You see there are 4 modules called appointment, logbook, progress report, and GOT monitoring. GOT stands for graduate on time. That is where you can see on the left side. And on the right side is the notification. There are 3 space for notification. That is for the appointment, logbook, and also progress report. And you can see that number. For example, in my case, I have 3 under the new appointment request, 0 under logbook approval, and 2 under progress report. So this number basically reflect the number of requests that your student has made when they use the 4 module. So you will receive an email basically from the student about their request. So after that, you can enter or you can log in into the system to address all the requests. Otherwise, you might want to log in into iMonitor from time to time to check whether you have any requests by the student. Yeah. All right, that is the right column. And in the middle column, on the top part, you see the different role of supervisor as the chairman, as the this one is as the as the supervisory committee member, as a supervisor, and as a co-supervisor. So you can also see numbers underneath each role. That number basically reflect the number of students that you have under that specific role. So for example, the default is as a supervisor. In this case, I have two. So you can see your student underneath. If I click on the others, for example, if I click on co-supervisor, so I can see 4 of my students who are my co-supervisee. All right. And then from this information, you see toward the under the column action, you see this eye icon. If you click on the eye icon, basically you can see your student detail. So in case if you want to call them, you don't have their phone number, you can get it from this page. Right? And if you forget who is your student, in case if you have so many supervisors, so you can see their face here as well, how they look like, and other information, the supervisory committee and stuff. All right. And then if you scroll down, a bit, you see the number of students under your supervision based on program, whether they are master or PhD student, whether they are still in the normal period of study or maximum period of study. For example, for PhD student, the normal period of study is 3 years. That is to define the graduate on time. But basically, the student can go and extend up to 4 years for where they will go into maximum period of study for PhD program. Okay, and then that is the number. And then if you look at under the same Windows GOT summary, you see more info. If you click on the more info, so you can see the list of student, the active one and the non-active one that you have supervised, especially for the non-active one. Yeah? So this listing basically lump sum all the student regardless of their role, co-supervisee or supervisee, in one Windows. And you can see we are using different color code to identify or to differentiate between whether the student is still in the normal period of study or has gone into the maximum period of study. So that if the student has gone into the maximum period of study, it can send you some message or it shows some flag that perhaps it's time for you to work closer together with the student to complete their study. Yeah. All right. And then you can also see the list of your other student that has been graduated or missing or other status that the system might have, like leave because of absent, graduated, or missing MIA, missing in action, and so on. So this is just for your record. Okay, so that is from the dashboard. If there is any question, perhaps you can ask me now up to this point. If no, then I'll proceed. Okay, seems everybody is doing okay with my presentation, so I just proceed. Yeah. So we will go to the 4 module that I just mentioned. Under the main menu, you can see the 4 modules: appointment, logbook, progress report, and GOT monitoring. Yeah. So the idea here basically is to have a systematic means or systematic process to monitor and also to record the supervision activity. Of course, like especially for those who is senior, who are already, have been in academic world for a long time, you might have your own system to manage your student. So iMonitor perhaps for you can be a complement, but eventually some of the features is require the student or has become a compulsory for the student to use, especially when come to reporting progress report. So for some of the module, like to submit progress report, there is no way for the supervisor to skip using the iMonitor, because now we want everything to be online, especially to solve the problem of missing form, like last time student has to go run to many office to get endorsement of their progress report from the supervisor to the HOD to the PG coordinator and eventually to the DDPG, and along the way the form might be missing. So that way of doing things is very, very ineffective. So we thought using technology, by a click of a button, you can have the form ready in seconds. So that is the benefit of using the system, at least for the progress report. Yeah. So before we talk about the module, I just want to share the output from the progress report. If I can unshare this screen and just quickly share one form. Hold on. Yeah. Can everybody see the research progress report form? Or maybe I need to share. Okay. Can you see the research progress report now? The form? All right. I want to show you this form so that you know this is the conclusion of the activity that you have done in a semester, the supervision activity, the meeting that you have made between you and your supervisor, the document that if you have any uploaded into the system by your student where you do the assessment. And for the progress report, for example, the student has to submit or has to upload the written chapter, if any. So this is the result, as in the form, research progress report form. So last time we have a couple of page, this form, but now everything is in a single page, and the student can access this form through the DDPG office. If they need the form as evidence to show to their sponsor, for example, continue their scholarship, they can use this form. So in this form, it's like the old one, where you have the detail of the student and the assessment of the research progress, and then the number of time you have met the students and how you communicate with the student, the medium that you use, the comment from the supervisor, the comment from the head of department. Like in other case, like for example, in other kuliah, they might not have head of department to give the comment, but somehow the power has been delegated to for example, the postgraduate coordinator. That can be done through the system. The administrator can do the setting to assign the role of the head of department to the person that the head of department want to. And eventually, the comments from the deputy dean and his or her endorsement, when he or she has endorsed the form, so the mark given to the progress can be either IP, in progress, or UP, unsatisfactory progress. So when the office have collected all the result of all the students at the end of semester, then perhaps the office can plan what to do if especially when the student has UP. Because in our system, the student can be allowed to have UP for 3 consecutive semesters. Otherwise, after that 3 semester, you'll be automatically dropped from the study. UP stand for unsatisfactory progress. All right?
Dr. Naim.
Yep.
2 questions.
Yeah.
This the page that you are showing us now, can the student get access to it and print it?
Okay. For the time being, we don't allow the student to print themselves. They have to go to the office and ask the administrator to print out, because we thought we don't want the form to be misused. Once the office has printed, perhaps the DDPG or the respected officer can stamp or can certify the form.
Okay. So you mean the Sister Mazilawati, for example, the AD can print it. What about the rest of the supporting staff at the office of DDPG? Can they get access to it and print it?
Okay. The person who can print the form, their role can be the DDPG.
Okay.
The HOD can also be the administrator. So all this role actually can be assigned to anybody in the kuliah. In fact, to anybody in the university. So it is up to the kuliah to assign to whom you want to give this role. But we don't want, for example, the administrator role to be given to many people, because we don't want too many people to get access to the system as well, because of security reason.
All right. Okay, thank you. For the second question, is it 2 consecutive semesters or 3 consecutive semesters? I thought 2 consecutive semesters.
Okay, I'm sorry.
Ah.
So I have to check my guidebook again. So if it's 2 consecutive semester UP, then yeah.
2 kan?
Okay, yeah, I think it's 2. So I think the supervisor know about this thing, but just in
No lah, Dr. Sharul, I don't think they know. So perhaps you can explain what is the implication of this UP and why they the supervisor should put UP.
Yeah. So as I told you, UP stand for unsatisfactory progress. Basically, the marks, the progress type is given by the supervisor himself. So, I mean, that is the reason why we have iMonitor. If you have a good engagement, a good monitoring of your student, I think perhaps it is rare to have UP. It's going to be a rare to have UP. So because UP is at the end of the day, we don't want to come to the end of the day or to at the end of the point when we want to give this status, right? As much possible from the beginning of the semester, for example, we want to plan with our student of what to be achieved toward the end. So the option is there, but I assume that it will be rarely used unless if the case is very, very serious. When you call for the meeting, for example, the student is not turning up. So we have this option as well when setting the appointment. As a record, because we have to have black and white. If the student is not coming when we set a meeting, then we can click on the button and it will be recorded. Okay. Is that answer the question? All right. Okay, let us go back to the iMonitor page. So again, we want to go to the appointment module. And we have this form module, right? So click on the appointment module. This will bring you to this page. Oops. To go to this page from the dashboard, if you have any requests from your student to meet, then you can click on the button under notification, new appointment request. All right, this is another way to address the appointment that is being requested by your student. So in this example, I have 3 appointment requests that has been made by my student. The student has access to to iMonitor as student as well. Their page is a bit different than us, but they have similar module. Then you can address their request. So in this case, my student want to meet me at this specific time, and when I said okay, then if I approve, then or reject, basically the student will be informed so that they can prepare the necessary. Let's say, oh, there's a bug here. Right, this is the thing that we face from time to time, and Dr. Prof. Azlina, I think this is a good example for our brothers and sisters at the Kulia as well. This is a good example when we find bug in the system. The bug can happen at any instant. Please do not freak out. What you can do is you can, please, I need your help as well. Please screenshot the bug, the error, and then if you, I can give you my contact number if you want. Otherwise, you can pass it to the Deputy Dean office so that the office can relay the message to us so we can address the bug. Okay, but anyway, the process is successful. I can show you that email has been sent to the Sister Sarah Africa about the meeting. Yeah, you don't have to worry because the bug come after the process. Okay, we go back to the appointment module just now. So these are all my active student. So as you can see, the one that the window that is pop up just now is the student that has initiated the request. But you as a supervisor can also initiate requests for the student to meet the student. So to do that, you see on the right side of the screen, you have again the icon, three sort of icon. The eye icon is to see the student profile, the plus icon, and the zoom icon. If you click on the plus icon, it will bring you to this page. So this is the page where the supervisor himself want to initiate the meeting. So you can put the address here, necessary address, and also a necessary date and time, and also some remark to create the appointment. And then once you click the create appointment, email will be sent. And on the right side of the windows, you can see supervisor calendar. So currently it's loading. So this is the calendar that your student can see when they want to set an appointment. So in this case, for example, I have set my calendar to be visible to my student. All my activity can be seen by my student. All right. So you can imagine if you want a bit of privacy, you can set differently your calendar setting so that whatever displayed is to protect your privacy. You can, in fact, hide the activity and then it will be replaced by whether busy or free terms. When you are having the activity, then maybe the status will be busy. So the student or anybody who want to set appointment with you would set appointment at that particular time. Okay, so as I told you, I will share with you how to do the right setting for your calendar. This is again very important for those who are using Outlook to set your calendar, yeah, because you don't want your calendar to be seen by anybody. Okay, so let us go back to the appointment page just now. So I click on just now, let's say Sarah Africa. I click on the Zoom. Oh, let us send an appointment with this brother. I want to meet him. Let's say today is 2nd, and now is 3. Please bear with me. I think the system takes some time for. Okay, now it is 3:30 and time perhaps 4 o'clock. Please Please meet me. Create appointment. Okay. All right. The appointment has been created. Then assume that I have set the appointment sometimes before days before the date of appointment, the date of meeting. Now, if the student is not coming, then you can go to the appointment page, click on the student icon. Like for example, I just invite Ismail to meet me, and then I can click on this Zoom icon. Okay. All right. So the first entry is the information about my request to meet with him. Huh? So appointment status, by right, the status is automatically become approved. The student has got no right to reject. Yeah. So if he want to reject, maybe he can call you, or he can personally communicate with you if he cannot make it. Otherwise, the appointment status is always approved. And when time comes, you can click no show up if the student is not showing up. Or if you are as supervisor do not want to meet at that particular time, perhaps because of your sudden call to other activity, then you can click on cancel. So there are two options here to record this activity of a meeting with your student. All right. So you can see the meeting with the student is not necessarily the meeting with your supervisor. You can also meet with your co-supervisor using the system. All right. Is there any question? I think I have explained about appointment module.
Yes, my brother. Assalamu alaikum.
Walaikum salam warahmatullahi. Prof. Yes.
I have one question. Sometimes my student he write wrong chapter for a number of chapter completed, a number of chapter approved, like this. He write 2, 2, 2, 3, 2, 5, but not correct. How I can repairing this one? How I can repair correct one for the number of chapter completed or number of chapter approved?
Okay. Okay.
How I can repairing, because many students write incorrect.
Okay, this happened when the student want to submit the progress report, right? Okay, so what happened when the student is submitting the document? So the document will face you first. So at that particular time, if you find the student submission is not complete, you can always turn it back. You can always reject the submission.
Reject. Cannot write myself. I want to repair by myself. You have a way for that?
For the time being, we do not have that features that allow the supervisor to do the correction on the number of chapter and also the document to be uploaded to support the claim that the student has made. I say if he has made the claim that he has written 2 chapters, then he has to prove that 2 chapters has been written, right, and uploaded into the system. So that perhaps can be communicated with your student. You can put remarks while returning the submission back to the student, say that number of chapter is not right, or please make sure your chapter that you upload is the right one, etc. And then
he also cannot change. He also cannot change, because system like this, if you send to one time, cannot return back to him.
If you reject the submission, the student can initiate a new progress report submission.
I reject myself.
You have to reject first. Then because otherwise, the other time where the student can improve the submission is after the verification or the endorsement by the DDPG. So let's say, for example, after supervisor has approved, it will go next to the HOD level. HOD can only recommend or not recommend. HOD cannot reject. And then only it will go to the deputy dean, and the deputy dean will endorse whether the submission is accepted or not. If the deputy dean reject, then only the new cycle can be initiated.
Can you show me when the reject button for rejected?
Button
Can you show me now for button which column for reject?
Okay.
Where?
Okay. Let's see if I have the request. But I need to have an example of student make the request of progress report submission. Okay, we will go to that one, Prof. Let us go to the logbook first before we talk about progress report, if you don't mind.
Yes, with
Okay.
you. I am with you.
All right, thank you. So that is think about the appointment, and then the subsequent logbook is the module is the logbook module. The logbook module we found to be the least used logbook, least used module among the four. So we don't know whether we want to take out this module in the future, because hardly student and the supervisor is not using this module. But basically the function of the logbook module is for the student to upload any note or any written document post appointment, post meeting. Or if, for example, if the student want to ask the supervisor to check for his conference paper or journal paper, for example, then he can use the logbook module. Because under the logbook module, basically the supervisor can download the document and then access the document and return it back if he need to return it back and also can give remarks. So we are not sure why this module is not used. Perhaps there are better means for the supervisor and the student to share document. We're not really sure. Or if you guys have any better idea on how to improve logbook module, if you have any, please do so with me, so that we can improve this module. Next, we go to the progress report. So under progress report, let me go to my dashboard. I think I have few requests, but I'm not very sure whether this request is for me as supervisor, or is for me as HOD, or is for me for DDPG, because I have all the four roles. I have all the four roles of the system. So let us look at this. I have two requests. HOD submitted two application. I think I received the notification as a deputy dean. So I don't have an example to show you, Prof. When I have a request by my own supervisee to evaluate his progress report. How can we do that? Yeah, because another thing, Prof, for progress report module, it will only open during a specific time in a semester. It's not open all the time. Usually we start opening the module at the 11th week of the semester, so that the student can submit the report, and then the evaluation process can be done, and the mark can be given before perhaps the board of examiner at the kuliah to finally endorse the result. So I am sorry I couldn't show you any case study when the supervisor want to reject, but I think last time I did comment to one request by Prof. Iskandar from IRK. Is this the same Prof? Okay, Prof. Iskandar, is he the one who asked me the question just now? I couldn't see. I don't know who asked me.
Yes.
Okay, I think I have replied to you, yeah, right? In my email, I said you just continue. You have to continue the reject button will come in the second round. How should I say? When the student is submitting the report, the progress report, you have to click on accept first, or is it accept? I can't really remember, but and after you click on that button, you have that option whether to proceed with the submission or to reject. There are two layers of click that you need to do. Prof, do you get me?
Yes, thank you very much.
As far as I remember lah, my role as supervisor kan,
Yeah.
It will appear at the, if you go to the dashboard, Dr. Naim, if you go to the dashboard, can I will just go to the progress report, click there, and then just fill in whatever I'm requested to fill in, and then just submit. And if I am not happy, I think I have the button of reject.
The reject button is the second layer. The first layer is kind of to accept the submission first. And then once you accept, then you can write all the comments. And then the next button is to reject or not.
Yep.
So, Prof. Iskandar, you just need to just
need to reject the student.
No, I think that was not my query. I have some other queries through its TTA. So I think it's okay. All right. Thank you.
Okay. Prof. Haslina, I think after this, maybe I can share with you the manual, iMonitor manual. I'm not very sure if you have the iMonitor manual. If not, perhaps I can share, then you can share with the remaining colleague and all the colleagues, inshallah. All right. Yeah, that is also about progress report.
Assalamualaikum, Dr. Naim.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullah.
Dr. Aramanchi here. May I ask you one question?
Sure, Prof.
Okay. I checked my list, active student and non-active.
Okay.
I cannot find one student already registered with me, PhD student from Iraq.
Okay.
His colleague, also PhD student, I got her name here. Maybe it's not active, didn't pay the fees or whatever. But the other one, PhD Najmuddin, Hama Najmuddin, I cannot find him. Already 2 years with me.
Is he an active student?
No, active and no non-active. I cannot find his name here in the list.
Okay.
But he always contact me.
Okay, one thing that
my question is, it the updated list here, the final one, or I don't know. That's my question.
Okay, one thing that I can,
you can check my number 7253.
yeah,
you can go into to check the monitor.
Okay.
You check the monitor.
The thing is like this. How the name can appear in the system is when the name has been registered in the PG system.
Yes.
After the student has officially registered for research topic.
Yes.
All right. So that can be checked at Prof. Haslina's office.
Okay.
You have okay. The two things that is required in the system before the student can use iMonitor is the title of the research and also the name of supervisor.
Okay.
So if these two information is not entered in PG system, then the student cannot use iMonitor. If the student cannot use iMonitor, means that their name won't be in the list. That is one.
So the problem may be at the kuliah level, not at the CPS. If
that is the case, then DDPG office can solve the problem. But if it is not, then perhaps we have to scrutinize the problem at the CPS level. Maybe the student status is not set properly for example, if it's leave of absence or MIA, that
Or
is,
if the student did not register the semester, he will not be able to enter the system. And right,
yeah,
Dr. Naim?
because yes, exactly, because the student has to be active to access the system. But
But the system is already there, exists in 2017, is it? It's not new, is it? The system, the monitoring system.
the iMonitor we start in the semester 1 2019.
Already 2 years, maybe 2 years. The student already registered in 2019. And his friend already the same year, I got her name here.
Okay.
Not active. So I don't know what the problem with him, because once he registered, the name must be there. Active or non-active is the second problem. But I cannot find his name on the list. What's wrong with the system?
Okay.
Not the student problem, the system itself.
Okay. No problem. Let us solve this problem after this. Perhaps you can give the information to Prof. Haslina.
Okay.
And then we will look at the issues.
That's right.
You know, I'm not taking out the possibility the system actually caused the problem, because you know, like in some situation, very isolated case, we receive comments from the lecturers as well regarding such like this kind of problem.
For me, Prof, the system is very, very good, because I check my students from the beginning, about 20 plus students already graduated. So the system captured the student status, graduated, all of them. I remember their names. I checked now about 20 plus, because many years already I supervise the students. But this, the very recent, about 2 years, how can his name is not in the system?
Yeah, it should be in the system.
Because the COVID problem just 1 year. He came before COVID already to university. But COVID-19, he cannot come. He is in Iraq now, but still communicating with email or by phone. Yeah,
No
so
problem.
that make me I don't know, puzzle. Thank you, Prof. Thank you. Okay.
Yeah, I think again, Prof, we will look into your problem, very specifically.
Yeah. Okay.
And also, I think this kind of issues has opened up our eyes also for all the students to access the system. In the future, we even want to open the system for taught course mode student. In case if they want to meet with their lecturers who teach the course, they can use the system as well. So, so among the plan that we want to do for the phase 2 iMonitor is to have this kind of feature. So, I mean, like as I told you, another cause might be the student status that doesn't allow the system to show. So we might want to let any status of student to have their name shown in the system. So thank you very much, Prof. If you think this, I think.
Okay, Doctor. My second issue is, and just I want to suggest, because your system is very, very, very good. I'm supervising many students in every semester for the RP research paper. Don't you consider it as a research business? The other part we need to monitor as well.
Yes.
And FYP for the undergraduate, also the 1 year business from semester 1, semester 2. So I don't know about the undergraduate and postgraduate different thing. But this is also research, FYP, research paper, and thesis writing. Allah Alam. If you can consider and coordinate with the Deputy Dean for undergraduate as well, that's good, because we need the system. The system already there in the university, so we can use it. Not only for the master PhD student. That's my suggestion. Thank you very much.
Right. Thank you very much for your input, Prof. Yeah. For you are saying for the research paper, this is for the taught course, right?
Yes, right. The coursework mode. It's not mixed mode. Yes.
Yeah. I second your input, Prof. That is very, very important comments. That's the reason why we want to open to all students, not only for the research paper, for other taught course as well, so that they can meet with their respective lecturer.
Very good.
Right. Okay. Is there any other question? Otherwise, we move to the last one, that is the GOT monitoring.
Doctor, Assalamu alaikum.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullah.
Thank you, Dr. Naim. Actually, I have two things. The same with our prof before. Actually, I have one missing student, and actually he passed his proposal defense. This is first. And he's active, still he's in campus. The second one, actually, I managed to, I tried to open the system many times, but actually always in progress report is 0. There is no progress report. How can I, for example, update the progress report? Because always it gives me 0. And I tried to follow you today, still it's 0.
Okay, all right, okay.
Thank you, sorry.
No problem, no problem.
Thank you.
Prof, again, for
Yeah.
your first question, please follow up with the office.
Inshallah.
And then to make sure the student detail is in the system, PG system, because that is the system that's working behind iMonitor. The database is behind the iMonitor is called PG system.
Inshallah.
Okay. For the second one, for the progress report, it has to be initiated by your student. So if the student does not fill the progress report and click submit, then you don't receive anything.
Oh, okay.
So this is where, I mean, like, what happened, the CPS will send to all kuliah the scheduling on what to do, especially with regard to the use of iMonitor to submit progress report. And the student usually know about this. Yeah, right, Prof. Haslina, I don't know how IRK advertise this to the student, but perhaps maybe now there's no problem anymore because we have been using this for for quite a couple of semesters. In the beginning, you know, perhaps we need to do some advert on the use of iMonitor. But now I really hope that the student know about the important date, when they should submit the progress report, what iMonitor is, you know. So inshallah, by the help of supervisor as well, to remind the student about this. Of course, another issue is about a student who is doing the study in Arabic. And so we received some comments from the student where they cannot use the system. Perhaps they cannot understand how to use the system. Everything is in English. We have also in our pipeline to have dual language iMonitor, once in Arabic. So for those students, there is no way. Perhaps they still need use the paper form for the time being. So please bear with us at CPS to provide that the platform in Arabic.
Dr. Naim.
Yep.
Actually, it is challenging to cascade the information to the students with regard to the important dates, with regard to the submission of report on the iMonitor, because we do not have their, I mean, sometimes they have their email but not updated or they don't open their email, they don't check their email. So there is no guarantee that the information reach them. The medium that we are using now so far is some of them are in the WhatsApp group, and then WhatsApp group at the kuliah, and also WhatsApp group at the departments. And mouse spread lah. Sometimes I get their buddies to also, you know, to keep their friends informed about this. But this is very an official way of communicating the information.
Right.
But I found that even with regard to the status of student, for example, now I think at our kuliah we have 300 students didn't register this semester. Yeah, and the system has automatically informed them that they are registered. So our students, when they don't register, the system will automatically tell them that they are not registered. And even after the 11th week, if they still don't register, their status is terminated, the student will receive that email automatically. That would be the only means that we are able to reach out to them. But there are abundant of cases that they didn't check their email. They only check, or they only take action when they are terminated lah. That is most of the time. So yes, I am facing problems to reach out to them because we do not have, sometimes they change their mobile number. And you know, we at the Kulia, we have like 1,300, 1,400
Yeah.
PG students. I think this is too much for the officers at DDRRI office to reach out to, you know, like type their email one by one. Come on, register in iMonitor, kan? It's not efficient to do that. So that's why, you know, this workshop is to generate awareness among the supervisors, to remind their students. I have to rely on the supervisor's role now to remind their students on the iMonitor thing, on the registration. So if your student, for example, complain, hey, my name is not in the iMonitor, and then you can ask, you register this semester? How many semesters have you been missing in action? So you thought you are our student, but actually you are not officially registered. And I am doing supervision for free now. Because the students are not registered. And if they are not registered, they are not our student. As simple as that. We are not supposed to supervise them. But because we lack of awareness whether they are registered or not registered, so kita lillahi ta'ala supervise them. But actually they are not registered. So that's why I said I go back to the role of the supervisor to check on their students. I'm so sorry, but this is the only thing that I can rely upon.
Yeah, thank you very much, Prof. Yeah, I mean, I concur with your opinion. Again, but we need to make sure our student is to be more responsible. Perhaps what I can conclude is to reach them out. The means that we are using now is not that effective. So some office has to think of how to improve the situation. When, as you said, when the student change phone number, when the student change email, this has to be updated quickly by the system. But this is beyond CPS. This is beyond CPS. We have to, but the problem is important. We have to raise issue. Perhaps we need to talk to ITD. Prof. It's not the problem with the postgraduate student only, but also undergraduate, because they have to register course by 4th week, for example. If not, then they have to make full pay. And 11 week, if they don't register, then they will drop from the course. So something like that. If they don't receive the email, then they cannot respond, right? So yeah, this is not an easy problem, but it is a problem to be solved. Inshallah, if I find an avenue to voice this problem, I will. Inshallah. All right. If I may proceed with the last module, GOT monitoring. Okay. So under GOT monitoring, if you click on the GOT monitoring, again, you will land to this page. You can see the list of students under your supervision. And then the status, whether they are normal or within maximum period of study. So if you click one of them, for example, I click on Sarah, I click on this Zoom icon. So you will see this page. This page is quite interesting and it's good for administrator as well, because in this page, you can see how many appointments that the student has been making, setting with you per semester throughout their study. So this can be a precursor or can be an evidence if the student, failed at the end of their study. If they want to put the blame on the supervisor, this is one of evidence that say there is no meeting at all happened. The student simply don't care. So appointment history is shown from the record of appointment. From this page, you can see. and this is the timeline of the student period of study. So the green bar basically is to show the normal period of study, and the gray basically is to show if the student is within the maximum period of study, and the red actually is where the student now. So from here, at least you know where currently your student is in their study, whether they are still in the early stage or they are already entering the maximum period of study. Because I believe it's very, very hard for us to keep track of the progress of the student in terms of where they are in the total period of study, right? So hopefully this information is useful for you to plan your to plan for your supervision activity. And underneath this is basically the default Gantt chart, but we have more than this. We have this Gantt chart, the actual Gantt chart, not the default one. The actual Gantt chart actually can be filled up by the student. And then once the student has filled that up, you can see the Gantt chart in your page, like what you can see in this window. For example, the student has key in within this period of time, he has to do this activity, HRI session for the children. So you can ask your student to use this feature from their side of iMonitor, because we cannot do this from our side. It has to be done from the student side, student planning or the student Gantt chart. I think that is all about iMonitor. If you have any question, particularly this module.
Doctor, please, how do you open this page, please? I'm trying to follow you, please.
Okay.
Yeah.
This page is under GOT monitoring.
Yeah, I'm in the same page.
Right.
But
And then, all right, yeah. Now you see the list of your student, right?
Correct, so, in front of me.
So you go to any of your student and you see there are two buttons on the right side.
Okay.
One is looking like another one is Zoom. You click on the Zoom icon.
Zoom. Correct. Thank you. Correct. Thank you.
All right. Then you will see this information.
Thank you.
Is any more question?
Assalamu alaikum, Doctor. How are you?
Alaikum salam wa rahmatullah.
This from Fiqh, Abdul Hamid from Fiqh Department.
Yeah, bro.
The issue of Arab students, I think it is relevant, and I think there is no problem if we can translate for them. It's just to help them. The system remains as it is. However, for the purpose of assisting them, because some of them are almost zero English, so just for the effectiveness and efficiency of the programs of the university, I propose that the iMonitor to be translated into Arabic.
Yeah. I
am one of those who can help because of my expertise, my experience. I'm willing to help in this regard.
That would be good.
I was seeing the IUM website. The Arabic is very poor. Some words are misinterpreted.
Yeah, because it's Google translated, perhaps.
Very sad, no?
So we need expert to translate. So thank you, Prof. I think I will engage with you when time comes, especially when come to the translation process.
Inshallah. My second issue is a small question. The mechanism of I don't know how to say, communication between CPS and the different kulliyas. For instance, if there is any mistake in the names of students or any data given, it's supposed to be at the departmental level and then kulliya, and finally at the CPS. So how to resolve this problem? Because sometimes names are missing. In my case, I had a student. It was a mistake in the at the departmental level. So supposed to be the name which was missing.
Hilang dah.
Yeah, breaking. Prof,
Mm-mm.
your voice is breaking. We cannot hear your voice.
Sorry, pembetulan nanti ke sebelah. Pembetulan.
I think,
Pembetulan apa?
I
Nama
think-
tak ada ke apa?
yes, Prof.
Nama student salah ke apa?
Nama student salah. Salah
Sure.
nama student
Now?
salah. Mestinya salah.
I think the Prof has problem with the with the connection. But if I can answer your, like half understood question regarding the information about the student that need to be corrected.
Can you hear me? You can hear me now?
Yeah, I can hear you now.
Okay, okay.
So perhaps you can reach out to the DDPG office first if they can do the correction. If not, they will.
Prof. I did the request, but the issue is that they said the name has been endorsed in the Senate already, so they cannot change it. So I'm asking now how this could be resolved. So in the future we will not repeat it. We are human. We are tend to forget to do mistakes or miscalculate or write the name.
Actually, that can be resolved. Say for example, Prof, if the name has been endorsed, maybe the student change the supervision, or I don't know.
No.
If the student change the supervision, that has to be tabled again in the KPGC, so we can update the name.
Everything was all right. Just a small mistake, because of that the name cannot be changed.
Yelah, if small mistake, then how come the mistake continue? So never mind, you can just, I think so far, whatever report that reached us, we managed to resolve it. Even in the case, if say for example, the name submitted is the name endorsed in the KPDC, but then we noticed that the student worked with another supervisor without the endorsement in KPGC, then we will advise the student to fill in the form change of supervisor, and then we bring back to KPGC for endorsement. Endorsement is important lah, because it is what you call that, recorded database kan, and we need the Senate endorsement on the task of supervision. So I think there is no problem, no problem. Maybe you get wrong information kot about that situation. So please come again and tell us of your problem, and then we will try to fix it. So far, whenever I communicated the problem to Dr. Naim pun, it got fixed. Inshallah.
Inshallah.
This was a long time ago. This was almost 1.5 years ago, before you came, Doctor. It's not now. I'm just saying how to resolve such a problem, so it will not be happening again. Yeah.
Okay. For the new student, what happened? All the data that we have in the system were given during the first time when they fill up the application form to enter UIA. So because we want to have, because we don't want at many venue, the student need to key in their information. So that is the one point where the student has to key in the right information, and then that information will be in the PG system. In case later on, if there is a need to change, for example, the student change name, or we have a case where a student from China has to change the order of their name because of scholarship issues and something like that, it is manageable. Come with the evidence, come with the official request and proof, then we can address the problem. Inshallah. Okay.
Naim, whenever a thesis is in Arabic, kan, how does the report appear? Transliterated in the system. If it is in Arabic.
The Arabic title can be seen under thesis title. For example, in this case, student scale, you have thesis title, but for the Arabic student, they have the English and the Arabic title, so it will appear. Arabic title will appear in the system.
Transliterated lah ke in Arabic? I pun cannot remember now. Tati asked me, so I pun.
It is not translated. I think it's typed in.
Transliterated lah. For example, Allah is A-L-L-A.
Oh. Okay.
I think that is the case lah. Now I remember. It is the case, I think. So it's not the Arabic font, but it is transliterated.
So Professor, if you notice when we have this graduation subcommittee meeting, and that's the title. So that is where the form or the Arabic title formation is in the system. Capital A, or there is an extra notation. I mean, so if there is anything that is not right, I think perhaps it can be raised earlier.
Dr. Naim, there are some questions in the chat box. Will you be able to check, or you want me to read for you?
The chat box, maybe I need to find this chat. Okay.
I can help you if you want.
Okay, sure. Okay. Okay.
So there's a question from Dr. Intan. She tried the appointment function, but she couldn't cancel the appointment. So she cannot, because the system said the address does not comply. How can she cancel the appointment now?
Whose address? Is it the email address? The page address?
Dr. Intan, if you are here, you can deliberate, or you can explain the problem. What is the problem now? The message said, I tested the appointment function just now and want to cancel it, but I cannot because the system said the address does not comply. Maybe this is bug issue. Yes, please.
Okay, Assalamualaikum. There's an error message and it says that the address does not comply, RFC, something like that. Just like the error message that Sharul was showing just now.
I think that is something to do with the email address.
His email address in the system is live, but I don't think he is using it.
I see. The email address live, you got it from iMaklum?
I don't know, it's in the system.
Okay, all right. So I don't know why, but you know, the email that we will use to send to the student is the email that the student declare in iMaklum. If the student declare live email address, then that is the email that will send the notification. If it is Gmail, for example, so it will send to Gmail. I suspect something to do with the format of the email address, perhaps the alias, or there is a blank space that is not necessarily to be there when the student type in the address. But if you can, again, Dr. Intan,
yes,
you can screenshot the error, the bug, then you can perhaps pass it to, what is the best media, Prof. Hasina? Is it
email? I prefer email because there is evidence of communication.
okay?
Email to me.
Or I can email to me straight away too, CC to Prof. Hasina. I think that's also good ways.
Okay.
To solve the problem, inshallah.
All right, thank you.
You're welcome.
And there is a question from Dr. Nadwa. Can you please show us how to use the logbook?
Oh, the logbook, again, it has to be requested by the student. When the student has uploaded their document, email will be sent to you. So in this case, for example, let us look at this. If I have any of my student, so this is the page. Okay, this is the page. Once you click the logbook, so you will see the list of your list of your students, and then you can click the two icon, one of the icon, the zoom icon at the right side of the table. Okay, in this case there is no submission. Okay, hold on, yeah, let me check. I think I have a student who has submitted something to me. All right, so for this case, for this example, this student by the name Sarah, so I think she has submitted the document to me. Let me check. All right, it's okay. Now you see this eye icon. So when you receive the notification, when you log in and you click on the logbook module and you click on the student, so you'll see the listing like this. This is the list of submission or document that the student has uploaded. So once you see the respected date for the respective document, then you can just go to that date and then scroll to the right side of the screen and then click on this icon, and then you can download the document. So it is under attachment, and I already give a comment. Okay, you can see, okay, the student has submitted, I think, her PowerPoint presentation on her progress report. So I can see it down here. So that is how I think the process of logbook is. The student submit, and then you'll be notified, and then you have to log in into the system. You click on the logbook module, you click on the student from the list of students that you have, and then toward the right side of the name of the student, you can see the icon to access the uploaded document for you to comment.
Right.
Okay,
and
why not you can try with your student. You can ask your student to test this module and yeah.
Yep.
Thank you.
And if we never use it, then we never experience it, right? So it's just like driving. You have to put your hands on the wheel and your legs on the brake and the okay, and then Dr. Nada also said that the manual not much helping the students because maybe the manual is not clear. My students never pity them because they never understood.
Really?
They never tried to understand what they had to do with iMonitor. Oh my goodness. They are PhD student, not undergraduate student. Okay, Dr. Naim.
I think then maybe we need to have a workshop with the student.
Oh, inshallah. I'm so sorry, then we have to invite you again. Yeah, we can have that, inshallah. Once, yeah, we can have that.
That's
so
one
I
thing.
was
The second thing, perhaps we at CPS can revisit the manual and perhaps can try to be on the student's shoes to feel how maybe it's a problem with the manual. I mean, maybe the other one is correct. So we need to look at it and do some revision, inshallah.
Yep. Yeah. Like especially because it is in English. I think because some students who don't speak English, don't read English, they may not be able to understand some of the instructions. I think it's not they don't understand, they don't comprehend the ability, the language proficiency to their. But I think supervisor can help to explain to them. Yeah, I was hoping this workshop will help me more with hands-on action. I think now we are doing it. If you cannot do it or if you have some problems with the system too, you can tell Dr. Naim immediately, because I remember juga lah last time when we had the training kan, Dr. Naim said if you have any problem, communicate to the CPS so you and your team can help to fix the problem, right, Dr. Naim?
Yeah, while I'm here at CPS. Until right?
Until June to do it.
Until July. No problem. I welcome all comments. In fact, we need comments before we embark on the phase 2 iMonitor, because once started to address or to accommodate new comment is not possible or it's difficult. So if you have anything to, because this system is developed in-house, so it is developed by our own programmer. So it's easier actually at least, and it's also cheaper in the sense like it doesn't really incur high costs as compared to hire external programmer to develop. But of course, when we depend on the internal programmer, they have thousands of systems to develop. Then we need to plan. The timing should be right.
Yeah.
Is there
I think Dr. Naim, I can see that some comments say that iMonitor has not improved, and then they are still having their students' name in the past in the system, kan? But I think we used the system 2019, kan? 2012. Now it's 2021. 2 years lah, more or less. Not even 2 years, because 2020 is like gone already. So you have like 1 year. But whatever it is, I think it takes two to tango for us to make sure that the system updated ke, improvised ke, it needs feedbacks from the user, isn't it, Dr. Naim? If you
Yeah.
keep quiet, kan, how
Uh,
can the system improve?
uh,
You need to communicate lah to the CPS ke or to my office,
yeah, sure. Yeah.
right?
One thing that I want to share with all of you, especially the staff or my brother and sister who got two staff number. So at CPS, we don't have that information unless if you tell us, then we can merge the student that is registered under each staff number so that you can see all your students. That might be the case also for those who cannot see comprehensive list of their student. So please let us know because we don't have that information of staff, especially the staff who is under, contract after serving the university. All right.
Yalah.
Is there any other question? Otherwise, perhaps I can share you the last part, how to set the calendar, right?
Yes, please.
If no question, then we go to the web browser. Okay, not here. Where is my calendar? I will log out from this page. Okay. Okay. Hey, where is the page just now? You need to find this dot matrix on the top right of your screen so that you can access the calendar application, Google Calendar. Our Google Calendar is integrated into iMonitor because you can, because somehow the university email address can also be accessed from the Gmail, right? So they have kind of agreement between the two parties. That's why you can see or you can access your calendar from Gmail, from Google application. So under Google Apps, you go to Calendar. This is Calendar. Okay. Okay, right. So you see, like when you go to the Google Calendar apps, maybe you can stop for a while. Is it Azan now? Oh, no, it's not. No, it's Azan from inside the computer, I thought, from the masjid. Anyway, I'm confused. So you go to your calendar, you go to your name, down on the left side, under my calendar, you go to your name until you see this three vertical dot. You click on that three vertical dot and click on setting and sharing. This has to be done once, okay? But you have to do this at least before you can, before you use iMonitor. So, all right, see, from the top, you can put, or you can describe about yourself a bit, and you scroll down under this access permission. So this is where you need to click the right option. So here you have three options, that is make available to public, make available to IIUM, and show calendar into other Google Apps application, Google application, Google Apps. So you don't want to click on the make available to public. Otherwise, this means that everybody in the world can look at your calendar. If you click make available to public, So everybody in the world can look at your calendar if they search your email address. So the content of calendar that they will see is based on the setting, whether you set it free or busy or detailed event. So you don't want this, and you advise, for me, I click on make available for IUM community, and then I click on this option, see only, free or busy when I have event in my calendar. And for the detailed event, perhaps you want to share with your important person, your student, for example, or your friends. So for that, you can use this option, share with specific people. If you have a specific list of people to share with your your schedule with, you can use this option. And again, under this option, you can select whether you want to show all the events or you want to hide the detail and just show free or busy. So I think this is the best, perhaps, way to set your calendar at least once before you use iMonitor, for example. And bear in mind, it's not only iMonitor. Those Google application that use calendar, they can also access your information from the calendar. So that's the thing. I hope everybody can follow me and do the setting correct. Is it okay with everybody? Especially to those professors, I know like you are very busy. You might miss this because this is from my experience in my department. There are many lecturers who miss to set the calendar right. So eventually we can see all their activity. If they put, I mean, like birthday party, children, everybody can see. So, just take note of it, inshallah. All right.
Okay.